Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Welcome to Open Office Hours today. We have a special new person, a face you've probably spoken with in email, but never spoken with live. This is our team member, Ansie.
Hello.
And Ansie's in South Africa. She is here way across many hours ahead of me here in the United States to give a good general purpose presentation today. We're going to go into a bunch of different things. Ansie has a great presentation prepared for you. Let me add this to the stage. Yeah, and this is our last open office hours of the first quarter. We have an entire schedule planned out for you for Q2. We'll mention all that stuff at the end, give you the information of where to look for the upcoming events so you can add them all to your calendar and make sure you're informed about what's coming. But today we are talking about membership site success, all of those back office things that you don't really think about when you're building your membership site, starting a new business, and the team you're going to need to support all those things. So Ansie does this for us, so she's the best suited person to give this presentation.
Thanks, Kim. Yeah, it's good to be here. And obviously very nervous to talk out loud in live person. I'm much better on the back end of stuff. So no, this is good, it's interesting, and I love being part of the team here. So today, as Kim introduced, we're going to just chat about how to support your membership site and more like customer success side of things. Not all of what customer success has to, entails, but just some of the aspects that will help your site retain memberships. So we're going to go into how we're handling failed payments, recovery tactics for abandoned carts, and just then a little bit more in general how we can advise on how to do more member support techniques for your customers. Okay, that's my big face over there. Ansie, Lima. I'm part of the Lima family a little bit in the group. If you know Andrew, he's my brother-in-law. So I am a qualified nurse and midwife by trade. Studied that, and I qualified. I had to think about this. I qualified in 2010, and so my career did a bit of a shift, and I started learning WordPress alongside my husband's work that he did in WordPress in 2018, and then became a family thing, right? So I started working in sales and in customer success at Paid Memberships Pro that same year. So I've got about 5 to 6 years experience working with processes around WordPress, back-end stuff, and coding that I leave to the experts. but I found a little spot within WordPress, so I'm quite happy to share that.
Very cool.
Credentials.
Okay.
But I did send her the info at credentials.
Okay.
So she should be able to log in, provided she saw my Slack message.
Okay.
But if not, here we are, and we can impromptu.
Sam, did you expect anything less today with how your life's been lately? Did you expect anything less?
I expected more.
Guys, I see her.
I'm back.
This is all my fault. I take responsibility for this.
No, I think my internet dropped, and then it just knocked me out. I had to restart and
no worries.
Dry a tear.
Oh, all good. No,
all right,
good.
Well, I'll stay in the studio, but I will remove my camera, and you guys can take it away.
Okay, let me just see if I can grab my
need your support.
I'm gonna just make
all good. Here you come.
Cool.
Everyone's so supportive, Auntie. They said, we appreciate you. We love your accent. We love the quick and dirty. We love the dirty realness of this. And everyone's glad you're back.
My tech support helped.
Technical support.
Okay, so I am going to now present. There we go.
Awesome. Don't leave tech support.
Share screen. Share screen. Okay. I'm going to do window. I've got.
They got a little quick AMA from Kim.
Okay. Travis was standing here with the recording, so I could kind of keep up with what's happening. Let me just make it like that. Okay, let's try again.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Ansie. Okay. So I think I left off by saying that once we are using our own product, right? And by that, we are trying to get into we can catch up on the niggles, and then we put processes in place to address those. We first address it for ourselves, and then we kind of see if it kind of falls out into part of the product and if this is what other customers would like. So trial and error and to see. And I think a lot of our features are actually because of our internal processes that have come to. We're using the product every day to manage our own members. So I'm going to go through the main 3 topics is payment failures, abandoned carts, and how to reduce better, smarter support.
And this is cool. This is like a background look into how we do things at Paid Merchants Pro, which is cool. And I think you're going to see things today that you're like, I want that. And those are the things where you can shout out in chat and say, like, bring this to the core product, bring this to the core product. So watch for this stuff and then give those shout outs. We'll be watching for your thumbs ups.
Definitely, if this is what you would like, right? So first, let's just go back to the basics of what is actually in PMPro already. This is stuff that you don't have to add. This is not an extra process. This is not something you even have to think about. The first thing is our email templates, and this is where we are basically nudging customers to do something. So I'm just touching on the email templates. This is not all our team email templates. These are the ones that we want our customers to action on. So the first one is credit card expiring. This is a notification that you would have seen that would be sent out about 2 months beforehand. And again, just nudging the customer saying, hey, why don't you update so that you don't miss out. Then we've got membership expired, and then the membership is expiring. The other way around. It's first going to send membership is going to expire. This is sent 7 days beforehand automatically. And these are also just if your membership levels are set up to have an expiration date. And this is where you would have most probably only like a yearly one, and you want your customers. Depending on how you're running your program or your business, if you have a set time you want that customer in and then out. This is also just to nudge them to say that your membership will be expiring in so many days, and we'll cover a little bit of customizing all of this at the end. But again, this is just an entry for you to be like, hey, it's expiring. Because obviously also you've got your customer that said, you know what, I'm going to cancel my recurring subscription. And this is also going to nudge that customer to say, you're going to lose access. Why don't you, come back? Then on day of expiration, we'll also send a notification. Again, this is also just to streamline how many admin tasks there are. So you won't have so many customers saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know I expired. I didn't know this was going to cancel on me. And it's also just preempting that another email, another customer reaching out line of work. Then if you have a module that runs more longer billing periods, especially for yearly ones, the extra expirations warning email add-on can increase the amount of emails that can be sent to the customer. So if you want to send 3 months ahead of the end of the year, 1 month ahead, and about 7 days before, this is kind of gives you the customer more prompts to resubscribe. Membership recurring. This is where also it's sent 7 days prior. Kim, do you want to touch on why did we move? Because membership recurring used to be an add-on and we've added into core.
Yes, so this is the notification that there is a payment coming and it's going to be taken soon. And we added that to core for a few reasons. I think there's a blog post that kind of covers why, but it's pretty important that people know there are cards about to be charged. And I see this as a way to be transparent, ethical, prevent chargebacks, give people a notification that their card's going to be charged, and not trying to do anything kind of sneaky where you're just like, I hope they don't notice that they're still paying me. On the other side, there is a legal,
out of mind.
There is a legal requirement in some countries. I know when we added this, some people got upset that that was turned on. You can disable this email if you don't want it on. We have some code recipes to only have it be active if the membership is yearly. I know that the laws around sending people a notice that their subscription is being charged varies based on the term of the subscription. So if it's a monthly, some locations don't require that notification. And if it's annual, that's like a longer term. And then that is a required notification. So it's up to you how you process that. I think it's ethical and good to leave on. And I would hope that the people who are regularly paying you would just see this as something they can be grateful that they're like, okay, yeah, I knew that was going to charge.
And it's not a nuisance. It's to say you're going to spend money. So just be aware that you also have enough in your account. The one at the right top is payment action required. This we don't see as often, but it's also just an extra notification that's in there to assist your customers if they need to add additional customer authentication. I think Stripe could require this and some other gateways.
Yeah, and it's really dependent on like the amount of the charge, the region that the customer is in, protections they might have through their credit card company. I'm sure maybe you've all seen that. You go to make a charge like at Best Buy for $1,000 or more, and it wants to send you a text message. And that's like Visa says, we need additional confirmation that this is you. Then you get a text, you enter a number, and it's something called strong customer authentication. So just another way to make sure payments go through, especially large payments or payments to people using credit cards that have a lot of security in place.
And then we're coming to our bulk chat today about payment failures. And this is if a recurring payment has failed, and usually because of the credit card that's expired or there's insufficient funds, and more details to follow on that. And then the last one isn't built in, but this is something that we are working on, or that we've worked on, abandoned cart notifications. And this is for users who abandon their cart during the membership checkout. And we'll touch on that as well. Failed payments. So these are a process that we've been working on for the last 3 to 4 years. So we've got 3 ways that we want to give all the members listening in a way to manage this. Nothing starts with it being clean and squeaky clean. It starts with, let's just try and gather data. And we want data, and we want to know how it's converting, so that we know the effort that we're putting in is going to give us information back. So the manual process that we would recommend here is that you can grab your failed payment notifications. You can get it from perhaps your gateway dashboard. Within there's if you status, what's the status? It would be failed. But we would gather our own that we got from our email logs. So you can get it from your email log, which is an extra plugin, or wherever you get your email notifications stored into your WordPress site, right? So you got all the information, Google Sheets, as plain as simple as that. Importing it into Google Sheets, or just copying, pasting it, and manually reaching out. And I wish I could tell you that this is, automated, don't have to worry, but this is where we want to be personal with people. And we found that a personal touch, it doesn't land in spam. And we've got actually people then responding a bit better to us, saying, I'm typing out their physical name, and I'm saying, hi, my name is, and introducing myself, and just saying, hey, I've noticed your, reverse. Failed payments is sent 3 times, right, to billing. So you're getting customers and the admin that can get it. So you can also grab your failed payments that is sent to you as an admin. Now, those 3 are automated. So I'm talking about a different process here. So we've got our automated emails that are already being sent, and just to note that it can take about between 7 to 14 days for a gateway to try payments. Specifically Stripe, we've got great success with that. It will take about 2 weeks, and there's between 3 and 5 attempts.
I think that's about right. Yeah. We use Stripe's smart reply or smart retries. So you can change your Stripe gateway to do specific intervals, or you can leverage what they call smart retries. So the payment failed, it's going to retry according to the schedule Stripe think is best. And every time it tries, if it fails, the system sends that automated email Ansie talked about on the previous slide. And that's the point where we're saying, let's get personal. Let's let that automated one go out. And then let's also follow up maybe a day later, 2 days later with something personalized.
Yes. And again, you just need to grab that person's information and send them an email. And it can be as straightforward as that. And it doesn't have to be very technical, and especially if you don't have a lot of members yet, just starting with something on the back end to see if there's a reason why they failed and if there's something that you can prompt them more to. Also shows you care, right? I care about you, and I obviously care for my income, but this is also just a way to help customers. I hope I covered everything there. Then for semi-automated, we started with Zapier. Okay, so Zapier integration helped us a lot just to we have a guru on our team, Andrew, who's obviously also worked on our own native Zapier integrations and helped us set up our own Zaps to grab the custom web hook before the failed payment was sent out to the customer. That is sent into a Google Sheet. So we've got an integration between PMPro and Google Sheets via Zapier. So I started out with a Google Sheet, and I'm getting my information in there about my customers, and then I can start tracking. I've got their email address, and I've got how much did they try, how much are they paying me, when did the attempt start. So you can like grab a lot of information. I can quickly show that screen?
Yeah.
I wonder if it would show. Sorry, Kim.
No, that's okay.
I had it all so organized.
No, we screwed up your thing. Ryan asked about this webhook, the Zapier webhook. So what Ansie's talking about now with the failed payments, there is no existing endpoint in the Paid Memberships Pro REST API for the failures of payments. There is for canceled memberships. So you could certainly do a Zap with the existing Paid Memberships Pro Zapier integration to do something and automate the canceled memberships. But there's no endpoint for failed payments. So we had to write a custom listener for things to go into like a polling webhook. I don't know. I'm sure support would share with you like a rough copy of what we did. You have to use Zapier's webhooks. And when you're setting up the Zap, it gives you like this unique listener URL. And then on your site, you have to write a custom API that's like pushing the data there.
And I'm like that. That's Greek, right? That sounds like I was just like, just give me my spreadsheet. I just want my spreadsheet. Okay, so here you've got the user email that was put through, the total, which payment gateway, especially if you're using more than one. When date was it attempted? How many times has it attempted? And then obviously it's coming through Zapier, the user ID. Then there was a link here that could actually take me, if I click it, it took me back to my dashboard on our WordPress website. And I could immediately go to the edit member page and have a look what's going on there. If it was recovered, so say for example, so this was also trial and error. We had now a case of I'm reaching out saying, hey, you know what, you haven't paid yet. Is there anything I can help with? And then it comes kind of like, I did pay. And it's like, oh man, shucks, how can we catch them that to see if they actually recovered between the time that I got this entry and before the time they recovered. And then I added my own, with Google Sheets, I added my own columns here. Obviously, be very careful with Zapier not to interrupt any of the columns that is sending you data, right? So I added my own columns, and then I would just say I've reached out first. I had an email template that I would send out, a little bit of a saved way of talking, and then that I reach out the second time, and if I reached out a third time, and then kind of like what was the end result? They cancelled or they recovered. And then I was very interested in data about this. So did Zapier...
Ansie, can I interrupt just so you could zoom in a little bit? Just zoom, I think you can zoom within the sheet itself. Is there like a...
Good question.
In the toolbar there where it says 100%, maybe make that look super grande.
100%?
Is that better? It's a little better.
A little better. What we can do is, I wonder if I can make a mock-up of this somewhere.
But we can probably put this as a free Google Sheets template.
Yeah.
Because this sheet could be used either for this semi-manual Zapier method or the personal, totally manual option if you used it outside of your site. So if you want to start doing this as an experiment, start adding in some additional human outreach, we can put this as a link within the YouTube video description, probably to like a generic template that you guys could copy and then begin using just as your template for this.
That's a good, I'll definitely make because I exported this from our other list, so there's no other data on this one.
Perfect.
So then we were like, who is actually canceling? What if did the customer then cancel in between trying failed payments? Did it cancel, granularly, throughout the normal process? If Zapier marked this person as cancelled, then we also had a Zapier to say it was Zapier. Then I was interested, was a failed payment email sent for recovery? And did they recover before or after the email was sent? So now we want to know, is it our billing reminders, automated billing reminders that are recovering customers? Are we wasting our time by reaching out? Because we also don't want to increase our staff just to manage the system if this is not useful for revenue. Are we actually seeing revenue increase by doing this whole process? And then when did they recover? Did they recover before I reached out, or recovered like my email was like shot? That was the nudge this customer needed, just to see that also the work I do, is it important and is it actually helping the company? That's that. I can go back to that. There we go. And then let me see if I can be technical enough to get us back.
Oh yeah,
I got us back. Okay, so for that's now the this is where Zapier is in, and again, this is semi-automated because Zapier is sending me the information, but Zapier is not sending the emails to the customers. I'm still physically adding them one by one, single outreaches, because I'm not bulk sending. There was 10 that failed yesterday. I'm sending them all the email today because then it will land up in spam, and so I'm not also driving this through my email marketing system. I'm doing this from my email address at PMPro. So let's move over to dashboard reports. Now, this was where Kim and the team just rocked it. We were realizing that we needed data. Like, how is this actually going? And is this worth it? So I pulled as much of data as I could, like saying, okay, I did 20 outreaches and 5 recovered. So that means my revenue is this amount that I've recovered. So this is worthwhile. So I could prove it to the team and to Kim, like, this is actually a system that's working. But we took it to the next level. Can I show you? I'm very, very excited about what they did for us. Yeah, I want to grab that. Just want to grab, where could that?
Oh, that loud delay. Yeah, maybe look in Slack.
Yeah, sorry about this. I had it.
No, that's okay.
So lovely.
I'll remove your screen while you find it, and then I'll add it back when you're ready.
Oh, am I going through? You can see.
Oh, yeah, just when you look for it. I think that it was an InstaWP site we set up with the demo. We can't show you a real one because it has our customer email addresses on it. I would love to be able to show you guys all of the insides of what Paid Memberships Pro's setup of PMPro looks like. Oh, you ready?
Okay. I am ready. There we go. Okay. So just to show the front end, we've made a demo site. It's got membership levels and it's got content. So and this is something now that's internal. So as an internal process, we haven't made this part of the product. So just to make that clear, but as Kim said, this is not it's something that if you're interested in it, then we can chat about it at the end, how this could work. So I go to reports. So we've got some documentation about how to customize reports and how to add more reports to your reports dashboard within memberships. We will chat about these ones just now. I just want to go to failed payments first. Okay. So here you'll see that subscriptions with failing payments. So these are all the orders that are failing at this time. My gateway is retrying these payments. Okay. I'm going to go into this order just to show you what it looks like. So we've got our, all the information that I need to reach out to this customer. I've got how much they paid, which gateway they're using, and we've added some additional order information here at the bottom. Again, customization to add to the order. I can make a note on the customer. We've got other internal stuff that I usually write here about the customer. We'll chat about this just now, but the main thing I want to show here is payments failing. The payments failing is selected. This was auto selected, and then we've got a log of when was an automated email was sent, the billing failure email sent. Outreach email 1. So I go back to the CRM or the email system that we're using, and I'm like physically reaching out. Hello, it's me. Please, can I help? And then I mark it here. Then when I go back to my reports, it has now a different column to say yes. Okay, we've reached out once. Then after a few days, I come back to my dashboard. I see this payment hasn't recovered yet. Outreach number 2. So then if I've reached out again, if I select on the order, outreach email number 2 was sent, then that will that would save. Yeah, you need to save. Save your stuff. And then just refresh. And then it changes to yes, you've sent this. And here we've got another column just to say if the automated email log has been sent. So imagine that the billing failed. I come online, I start working, and there's another order that failed, and I send an email. What if the customer just got that automated email? So it's like a little bit annoying, like, okay, guys, I know you want my money, but just relax, So it just gives me a time to, wait, you know what? I can hang on and not send this email just yet. I can just wait a day or two before I send it.
So Ryan, this is a custom report that we wrote internally. It's kind of how we're like workshopping the concept of a built-into PMPro Pro dashboard and way to give visibility into payments and failures and what's going on. So I don't know that our exact process will become part of core PMPro Pro. Our support team has a version of all this code that they can give you if you open a ticket, and it's kind of like, here's a rough copy of what this process looks like. There's a lot of manual pieces, like Ansie is saying, like it automatically adds the people with failing payments to this list. It automatically moves people into like a completely failed section of this list and does some calculations of things, but we're still kind of workshopping and getting feedback from people about if they'd like a dashboard like this and, how that would help them get better visibility into kind of like what's churning on what subscriptions are about to churn at what time frame and kind of how things are going there. So,
and it's also dependent on what your billing cycle is like.
Yeah.
If you're on a monthly billing cycle, this is going to be a little bit hard to keep up with. And also, how often do you reach out if you have just a few days? Maybe you'll just want to do one personalized email outreach and not because a yearly one makes more sense that you want to have that yearly revenue because you're relying on that yearly revenue.
Yes. Yeah. And I think with the year, there's more gap in like, for some sites, maybe people haven't realized or come back in some time. So when the payments are failing, we get that sometimes. People are like, what is this? Like, 100%. They're like, what is Paid Memberships Pro? I don't know what it is. I'm like, this is running your entire membership platform. And then they're like, I better renew, So then, it makes more sense. But I think it depends. Yeah. If you're monthly, maybe you're not doing a process like this. If your annual membership is $6, maybe you're not doing a process like this. But when you get into like the multiple hundreds of dollars annually, that's a lot of money to lose, and anything you can do to kind of improve that once you've established a good core membership is a good idea. Yeah.
Good idea.
But I can even share the snippet in the community. It's just like very technical and complicated.
Yeah. So
for now, until it's an add-on.
And then what's interesting here is we want to know out of these customers who are recovering and who are then cancelling. So we've got here subscription failed, those who did then cancel. So if they're completely cancelled, then they will move to this one. And I can now see, did I actually reach out to them? Did I catch them in time? Am I on top of my work? That helped me a lot. And then we've got data. We love data. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what's working. So I will share a little bit of our own just now. But then the last block here is who did recover? Who are we winning over? And then what happened to that customer? Did they recover because of the automated billing notification, or did they actually recover because of our efforts, extra efforts? So then there's also some data. So on the top of my head, I had to look at fun looking into this. We started all in the last 3 months, out of all the failed payments that we've had, 50% recovered and 50% went over into cancelled. It's also the business we're in. So it's not saying that, it's just to show how hard it is to have people commit to your product year after year. And as Kim said, things happens in a year's time. And even stuff can happen month to month. Some people don't like to be, committed to a subscription that will go off, and they're scared they're going to forget about it. So they're going to cancel the next one, and they're relying on a notification to say that you need to renew manually. So just to get back to, this is what the reality is like. Only 50%, for example, that we've seen have recovered. Now, what's interesting, out of that 50%, that group that has recovered, 60% recovered from the automated emails, which is like this built into PMPro. That's not anything you have to think about. 60% of our customers in the last 3 months, the yearly renewal, they actually recovered by just an automated process. Then we want that 40%, that other, how did those ones do that recovered, but later on? So they recovered after I sent the first email. I think it was... Sure, I'm trying to think on top of my head. I lost my notes with everything that we started. Okay. No, yeah. But that's fine. So out of that other 40%, there was a large margin that recovered after the first email. Okay. And then there was a smaller section that actually recovered after the second one. So it shows us that if we can catch our first email catches them better, that there was a personalized email. And we actually get a lot of responses like, the CEO has been sick. I don't have access to other accounts, or shucks, you know what, I've run out of money, I'm running an NPO, can we extend this? And I mean, we work a lot with customers, giving them customized, or not extensively, but we do care, so I do care that your CEO is somewhere in a hospital and that you can't pay, and we'll definitely give you some grace period to get that done. So it also helps that personalized emails and not just the notifications opens up a response from your customers. Cool. And that's our dashboard, our new reports, our big, shiny reports that I'm very, very, very proud of. And I had nothing to do with the code. So it's all on Kim and the team. And I think what's lovely is that our team doesn't just work on, our developer team doesn't just work on our plugin to improve it, but they're also working on our internal processes, which is much appreciated.
And we went about this in the way that we go about a lot of things. We did it manually. We saw how that was working. We said, okay, let's automate this. And then after we automated it one way, we were like, we can automate this better. So whatever version, if it ever becomes something that's in the product, it'll have been through years of rigor, right? Years of testing and iteration, so that it was like really the best that it could be, I think. And if we had at any point found like the automated emails are way better, there's no need for a human touch, we wouldn't have gone forward with it, because we are, there's limited resources. You're operating your site with limited resources, maybe just you. So the idea to add this in to your process and these human outreaches just might be impossible, right?
Yeah. Do you remember what we used at one time that actually was an automated process, and there was
Churn buster.
Yeah. And we found that interrupted more things for us. Yeah. So it really depends. There is processes out there that can also catch failed payments. So not to say this is the one and only, but we did also have other issues with it.
Yeah,
So
churn buster is like a third party that taps into your Stripe, sees that payments are failing, and tries to do recovery in their own smart way. And people were getting these emails and like, what's churn buster? Because they put their logo on it and the link isn't to your website, it's to this third party thing. And I think there was this lack of trust, and we got more contact saying, what are you sending me? Someone's asking me for my payment information. And we were like, turn this off.
Yeah. So it definitely depends on where you're at and what you can use.
And I guess what's unique about our project is that people's payments fail, but they could have been locked into a legacy rate from 2012, right? So like our pricing has changed in 13 years. Is that how long we are now, guys? Certainly some people are locked into a very desirable rate. And in particular, your emails, Ansie, you're customizing it to say, like, if you don't renew, you will lose this locked in rate. Like, are you sure? Kind of thing. So I think what you write in those emails is totally up to you. And if you do like a win back or a coupon, that's totally up to you. But yeah, you'd have to think about that too, I guess. We didn't talk about what we say in the emails, but we just recap your rate and what your benefits are and what actually will happen to your site if you don't renew, which is nothing. So yeah.
And I think we're also getting those responses to say, oh, I didn't realize I'm in a granular payment pricing per year, that my pricing isn't going up. So it also just educates the customers that you might be losing out here. Cool. Hopping over to abandoned carts. So why is creating a system about abandoned carts important? So if you're running a product site, you'll know a little bit more about this. But when it came to memberships, it was a little bit tricky because we don't have a cart feature, so to say, on our product. So how would you catch those people that are on the checkout page, they're about to go in, and then how do we actually reach them? So let's quickly cover why it's important. Money. We're grabbing our bags, and we've worked so hard to get that customer onto that checkout page. You work so hard to funnel it and to make sure your process is working well, and then they don't go through. So it's increases, and it also improves the customer retention. So you've got customers that are like, oh, this person actually cares that I didn't check out. There's a human on the other side that is letting me know that they, there's interaction from this product. It provides valuable insights like, okay, gosh, there's a lot of people that's jumping off. I wonder why. Is my checkout page too busy? Am I not giving enough information? Maybe I should add some, more reassurances or options. Should I be adding a free level before people are actually, should I add a trial level before people, so it just helps you that. So, and also it enhances the marketing ROI that you've again made so much effort to get that person there. The marketing team is working on really hard, and then it also creates automation opportunities for you to not have to sit a bum in desk, bum in chair, trying to reach these people in a systemized way, because you also don't want a time lapse, and then 2 weeks later they're like, I don't even know what I was looking at. And so you kind of want a timed frame one. So this is also a very big work in progress that we undertook. Again, we had the 3 ways. You can have the manual way. So abandoned carts within PMPro and within your gateway is your token orders, especially when it comes to Stripe. So you can grab your token orders from your orders page. You can filter all your token orders and export that list and then work on those customers. So you can just import it into a Google spreadsheet and, just manage it from there. Ticking off who you've reached out to, you've checked in a week later, did they actually take that product or not? Can I reach out again? What is my time frame looking like? And how to manage that. So again, it's very easy. Even in your gateway, I think you can grab it under cancelled. But just double check that it was then a token order in your dashboard. But yeah, order page works, I think, best. Then we have Zapier. We also worked on our own spreadsheet for Zapier. And I can just go through that again quickly. I hope we're not running out of time, Kim. But
you can go as long as you can. You still have lots of people watching, so
all right.
They're into this if you can. Make it bigger. There you go.
Okay, so again, this was my cart abandonment for token orders that we created a custom webhook for. Again, custom is the link here, or the important word here. So it can grab my user email, my user ID. It sends me a link straight to my dashboard that I can go have a look what went on. I was more interested in which level the customer was interested in, and how much they were planning on purchasing. So I will focus on the higher end ones before I focus on the lower end ones. Where did the token come from? And timestamps. Okay. Then we have, on the first line, you'll see this was just a very standard one, and it didn't give us much information. Or it just stopped there. And then we had the same problem where I'm reaching out to the customer and saying, hey, sorry that you didn't process your order. Is there anything I can do to help? Do you want more information? And then they're like, dude, I already paid. I'm like, oh, man, I shouldn't have sent you that email, and I'm sorry. So we then got smarter. Or not me. The team got smarter, and then we started adding more information here to say that, whoa, there was actually a success, because sometimes you get customers that get to the checkout page, they attempt to pay, there was an issue, and they tried straight after again. So we're catching those ones to say, okay, this customer actually did recover, so just relax. Don't reach out to them. They don't want to hear from you at the moment about they've already done that. Okay. Again, I was just checking what's happening with every entry here. How many times did I reach out, and then what happened to that customer? So outreach 1, I just a little drop down to say it's recovered, or I've reached out. So I'm obviously checking my orders before I send emails. So that was also important. Learning how to do that. And then if they converted, a nice green converted, we're very happy to hear about those. And out of the 2 of abandoned carts and failed payments, this one was the hardest to manually manage because I didn't catch them in time. By the time our workflow would start with this, it was I don't know, it was just like that in-between stages of not catching them just at that right timestamp. If you can do that, by all means, like, having an income of data and then processing it as you go. But we found it quite hard because I also have another job, right? It's not just this, so other work. So, okay, so then we've got, so this is what we found with Zapier. So I'm going to catch us here just with Zapier, why we also had other problems and why did we go over into our reports and making our own reports on our own dashboard, and why did we go and make our own abandoned cart add-on. Zapier was great, but it would time out. And then I would have to wait from my time zone. I have to wait for Americans to wake up and then restart the Zaps. Then there were times where the information was incoherent. It wasn't pulling the right stuff. So we had to keep tweaking, keep updating. The customized work that went into this it was customized. And, a lot of work had to go into it. So it's also pulling out from our dev team to keep looking at it. And then we had because we developed a Zapier product. We had a relationship with Zapier, so they gave us a bit of a just help me here, Kim. They gave us an
like
account.
a partner love plan. So when we built the Zapier integration app for Paid Memberships Pro, they gave us this free account and we built our test apps there. We built this Zap there, and then all of a sudden we had so much volume going through our Zaps that we like went over the number of Zap actions we were allowed, and there was no way for us to upgrade the plan. So we were kind of at this weird place where we were like, okay, we're gonna have to either move these Zaps that are already a little bit annoying. They kept losing connection to our Google Sheets account. I think that's what was happening. It was like disconnected, and we were like, why? We didn't do anything. I don't know if anyone else is using Zapier and having that same problem. It would like lose the connection to our Google Sheets, and then we had to like re-authenticate it, and then we had to reprocess all the Zaps that failed. And I was like, wow, we're going to have to rebuild this on a new Zap account that has paid. There was no way to like take our account to a paid account because of the way that it was built with Zapier team. And then we had these failures, and the data was just really awkward. And I think it was David on our team who like heard our pain and was like, I can fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I'm very, very, very grateful for our I'm very grateful for our developer team. So out of this was born where's my presents? Our new premium add-on. So the abandoned cart add-on was then born out of our own processes. And why not, give it to everybody else, because we want that systemized. Where with failed payments, I found personalized outreaches helped a lot. If you find personalized outreaches helps a lot with your cart abandonment, hundreds, but because we wanted to catch that customer in 1 hour after they've tried, then we wanted to catch them 1 day after they tried. And the third one is,
I think it's a week, which maybe is a little long, but it's filterable in the add-on if you want to change it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's cool, and it's I think I recommend that manual process first, because the content of the emails that we customized for our 3 abandoned cart outreaches is because of what you did, Ansie, all those years doing manual outreach. So there's nothing wrong with starting with that spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Seeing which emails you send, have a couple experiments, see which ones are converting. You were going to share, Ansie, how our abandoned cart rate is, our recovery.
Yes, actually, let's quickly grab our reports again.
Okay.
So I'm back onto our where our abandoned cart add-on has been added to this test site, and we can see here exactly what is happening with our recovered revenue and recovered orders, and how many times the recovery was attempted. This is the outreaches. So we've seen now we had it on for about 2 months.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think whenever it launched.
Yeah, I think it was end of Jan. I have this feeling it was Feb. Yeah, but when we launched, so we had a bit of data to work with, and we had a 17% recovery. And we had a look around, and it looked like a normal cart abandonment generally out there. If you want to look at a baseline, it was between 5 and 7%.
Yeah, that's what like industry average. Now this isn't just membership sites, but we saw industry average was 5 to 7. So we're really happy with our 17% recovery.
Yes.
It definitely has validated the effort to create that product. I'd like to hear if other people are using it, what their rate is, but no need. You don't have to share it. But it is good. It's good.
It's interesting, and it's interesting to know if customers are finding this useful. We always like feedback, and I think what is also important about this is you customize your email templates. You can say exactly what you want about your product, and if you want to add incentives in the 7th, on day 3 or day 7. We promote our own what's going on. If we have a promotion at the moment, we can share that. So again, very customizable about how you can win these guys back. And that's marketing. That's your marketing effort right there. So we're going to pause here. We still have to. We still want to just chat a bit about how you can get your support processes and how that would benefit your membership site. But if anybody has a question about abandoned carts and failed payments or automated emails.
Nothing right now.
I think we can grab them as they come.
Yeah. Someone earlier had a question about pausing, which Sam dropped the link in for
Okay.
them. Oh, here, someone we'll just bring this one up. We get Gary's question.
Okay.
Gary asks that as a website designer, I'll often get to a checkout page on something, for example, a plugin, and see that they want access to my contacts. So they abandon the cart because of this. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely that case of like, there's a reason why you abandoned it. And hopefully that website you were on will start gathering information of why people.
Yeah. If they ever asked why. I know our abandoned cart doesn't say like, why didn't you buy? I guess that's interesting. We'd maybe get some feedback from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're annoyed by abandoned cart emails. That's fair. I think some people are. Yeah. We do make it clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like the abandoned cart recovery add-on adds a line to the checkout form, and it's a customizable message, but it does say that this is something that will happen when it's active. So that's just more that just being transparent and clear that as this person, they may get an abandoned cart. There is an unsubscribe link, which is just for the abandoned cart sequence. It's not related to their membership unsubscribe or any newsletter unsubscribe, but they can exit the cart process that's built into the add-on. Yeah. We'll take this other one by Quinte Landlords. When membership gets canceled because of failed payment or because we cancel them and then they send in payment, how can we reactivate their membership? So if the membership's already canceled, I'm not sure how they'd be sending in payment, if it's like a manual, like a physical payment, or if you have this kind of disconnected where they can pay like via PayPal Pay Me button or something like that. But I would just locate the correct user and edit their membership from the edit member screen. Yeah. So if you can find their user account in your WordPress site, go to edit member, and then on the memberships panel of that edit member screen, you can add a membership and set the expiration date right there. I guess that's that link we shared earlier, but I'll add member.
Yeah, it's quite hard here because I've had that case where somebody said they don't want it anymore. I canceled them from my side. They come back and say, you know what, I rethought about that, and it's done. I can't reset up their subscription. The gateway doesn't allow me to do that. They have to physically go in and recheck out. So this is just part of customer support, customer success, just engaging with the customer saying, oh, I really wish I could, but you'll have to redo it from your side.
Yeah. But yeah, you can definitely, if it's a manual payment, you can definitely adjust their membership and add it back for the appropriate term.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. So we'll quickly touch on support efficiency. So it's just how to use tools and processes and your team. So you want to identify how your product delivers value. So it really is about how your product is set up and how much input are you getting back from your customers. If it's a case of you're getting a lot of the same questions all the time, you want to start looking at having templates ready to reply. And I think try not to sound, I don't know, sometimes it can sound like an automated reply, and we hate those bot replies, right? But just to kind of have a template, you can just tweak it a little bit here and there to make it more customized to the customer, but templates for answering specific questions. And then you also want to go have a look, do I have a frequently asked question page? Could this be added to that? Is it going to make the page too long? Maybe I should write a documentation about this. Then I'm going to work on my SEO on that documentation. And then I'm going to then I can send an actual link to the customer, and I don't have to write them 4 paragraphs of how to manage their course or when to subscribe, until how long, and the flow of my product, or when will they receive it, or anything like that. And I think what's so amazing about WordPress and about what we're working with is that you can customize so much on your site to streamline those customers through information. We have tons of examples of how we manage this over the years, and it really just comes down to within the team we've got support guys, the ones who work with the technical issues with customers, and customize features. They've got a common support like spreadsheet, and they just update it amongst themselves, and they chat about it in the team meetings, what's come up, what's been recurring issues, or actually these customers really want this feature, let's start working on that, or let's think about it for the next, whenever we go into the next cycle for development. This is something we can like postpone for a year out for now. So it kind of helps to gather information. So again, data. It's just to gather information. And then turning, when you then have a system or an idea in place, using a CRM or creating your own CRM for making things more automated. So we, for example, use FreeScout. Before that, we used HelpScout. So we moved over to FreeScout. You can like buy add-ons to make it more customizable. But our dashboard at the moment for handling customer questions, not our support, right? Support tickets are separate. These are customers that are reaching out to us from our contact form from our website. So frontline, when we get that, it tells me, do they have a level? How long have they been a member? Have they had previous questions? So it links to other emails that they've sent before. Was their previous things answered? Okay, so that's just getting a system in place, and then I can actually see, wait, they've actually sent this same question 5 times. I need to make sure that that something's not getting translated here correctly. So there's like quite a flow within when you get customer queries, and it can also just be your normal emails, and then again you've got a manual process where you can just have templates on the side, or you can have a built-in CRM that has blocks of saved replies that you can just choose from. And this is what we also want to encourage, is before you expand your team, try and see if there's processes that can be a bit better automated. As much as your product and your business need to be developed, you also want to keep your team niche and controlled, so you don't have too many hands. Does that make sense?
Total sense. Yeah. And that's what we like about using FreeScout. It's not like everyone has a login to the same Gmail account, right? Like, yeah. And that might be how you start out, but maybe even before you bring in one other person, or at the point where you bring in one other person to help you with your sales and your contact us page, think about using something like FreeScout, which is the open source version, HelpScout, which is a paid version. But if you only have a few seats, it's not prohibitively expensive. There's lots of tools like this, and they just kind of facilitate that, like Ansie said, that single picture of one person who's contacting you. We do have, our FreeScout has like a custom widget that pulls information via API from the membership site. So if you set up FreeScout and you want some advice into that, we could probably anonymize it for you. But it's cool because it shows us if the person contacting us is a paid member, or actually a member that got a refund in the past, and now they're asking new questions, and we're like, excuse me, you canceled a month ago and got a refund, and now you are still asking us questions. Like, what's actually going on here? So we know how to give people the right answers, just kind of based on who they are. Yeah.
And I think that the next step is to then see if there's a lot of that going on, that back and forth. You're like, you know what, this is my time. My time is really important, and I need to see if this actually needs to be a paid service. And then that is how you can move on to be like, if there's a side of a customer type that you have that needs a lot of hand holding and a lot of back and forth and information sharing within your product, I would 100% suggest adding support as a paid product, because in that way you're getting people that are serious about your product. You can then hire people to answer those questions because now you can afford it, and you can really just just work with that person a lot better. And then obviously there's then that side of separating it into a forum. And not to go into all the details of how we did it, but so BB Press and Buddy Press is great. BB Press mainly, and again, very customized over the years.
Yeah, but it's true. We were trying to think in advance because we're a software product, but we were thinking like, even if you run like an online course, there might be people reaching out to like get more information about the course, or they didn't understand something. So you're doing all these one-on-one emails with people. So what Ansie's saying really is like, if that one person is really needing a lot of extra help, maybe that's a coaching client opportunity for you. And maybe they'd be willing to pay that if they're asking all these questions, or otherwise, maybe it's something you can improve to make documentation public and preempt other people who might have that same question. So it's just interesting to think about what is like a sales process, and what is a contact, and what is actually supporting your people that have purchased your membership, and how do you think differently about each of those people.
Exactly. And it's about your audience, like really like who is behind your product and how would they value you down the line. If it's very, very simple entry-level people, you might not get the support that you want from them. But if it's people that are willing to commit to your product and they're really finding help out of your product, see if they need more hand-holding, that they can actually be moved up into a level that can include that hand-holding.
Yeah. Desiree asked if Pre-Scout is on site. They're using PMPro. I'm going to use with Audesk, AWE Desk. I have not heard of Audesk. Pre-Scout is not. Pre-Scout, it would be hosted on a separate server from your main website.
Yeah.
It's just like an open source help desk. I haven't heard of Audesk, but that sounds cool too.
Yeah. What's that other popular one?
Zendesk?
Yes.
That's one. Yeah, maybe Zen. Everything desk. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the short little summary of what we covered is PMPro email templates and our documentation to that, and customizing those. Really look at who's your audience and what would help them just take that action to get the payment done, to update their credit card details and make the effort for that. Then our abandoned cart add-on, and we're here to help. We can see where we can fit in the more customized stuff and give a little bit of guidance on custom webhooks. Again, that's quite technical, but it's doable. And that's also the beauty of WordPress. It's doable. Everything is doable. You can do it.
Yeah.
I've got a dog in the background that I don't know if you can hear him.
Mine's trying to get under the door here. No, we appreciate it. It was a lot to cram in. We got a lot in this. Are there any more slides? I'm going to take you off just so I can see you closer.
That's all.
Okay.
That's just
I'm taking you off.
There we go.
Yeah. So we covered a lot. We covered how we're internally doing things. Definitely how we incubate things in our team and then move them into the product itself, which I think is cool. If any of this was interesting to you, like Ansie said, you can always reach out. I want to talk about what's coming next. So let me look. We do have our schedule up for the next
on.
All right. How do I do this?
Take the limelight.
Share screen. It'll be me. Here we go. Cool. Did that work? All right. So up next, this was this one. Okay. So I'll be back April 10th. We're going to do another version of the membership account page, the dashboard. That's a really popular question we get a lot. Building the dashboard as this like central hub for how members find all of the things that they've purchased through you. Not just account information and credit card updates, but also like the actual content of the membership site, their listing in your member directory, all of those things. So it's a challenging topic when we talk about it at the grand scheme. I think I'll pick 3 of our most popular use cases and focus on kind of a site build for those dashboards. So I know there's people we've kind of helped and talked through that who might be still watching, who'll be super excited. April 24th, we're doing an awkward fun thing. I'm going to set up a member press site and I'm going to migrate it to Paid Memberships Pro. I haven't gotten a cease and desist yet, so that will be live until we get, no, I don't think that will happen. But it'll be a live example of walking through our tutorial of how we advise people if they wanted to leave a different platform. We have guides for a few of our competitors, and we have a generic guide if we don't have a migration just for you. And then we'll have an AMA and the rest of the things you can see here. We are coding with Sam not until April 4th. So that's next week, Friday. Sam, you confused me because you said, I think I'll be okay for coding with Sam. And I was like, is it tomorrow? But it's a week from now. That is, if you haven't joined yet, that's our series for people to get more comfortable customizing their membership site with code that is human readable and can be done by someone without a deep experience, without even intermediate experience, very beginner level, willing to try customizing the site and drop in some code. Probably not the extent of the code that we've demonstrated here today, but some simpler things that just can help you get that just right fit on your membership site. This page on our site is just at /live. You'll see all of the events on the calendar here, as well as private community events that are only offered through our free Slack community. If you have a free Paid Memberships Pro membership or higher, you can join our community, interact with, I don't know, over 800 people, I think, are in the community now. It's getting more vibrant every day, and participate just in async chat. You can attend async periods of time where our support team is in the chat room with you, or you can also attend actual video calls. So I think this past week, it was me and Kim and one person from the community who we just kind of talked for an hour with about their membership site. So you might get lucky and there would be just you, and we can talk to you for an hour. There might be other people and we'll go around the room, but it's fun. It's awkward. You don't have to have your video on. You do if you can if you want. That's up to you. But you will get notified of our next live event here on YouTube if you subscribe to this channel. And then please give this video a like. Show Ansie your support, even for what technical difficulties we had. I think you rocked it.
Thanks, Kim.
YouTube link to Google Calendar items. Yeah, Emily, if you go to that live page on our site and go to that events tab, any of the events there, you should be able to click on the single event. Let me see if it works. What happens if I do that? And then copy to my calendar. Did that pop up? Sometimes pop-up things don't work. But yeah, you should be able to copy these events into your calendar. And I wonder if you can actually subscribe to the whole calendar. Yeah, maybe even you can subscribe to the whole calendar. I don't know. They're already on my calendar because Sam makes me go to everything. No. Oh, you did. I'm like, cool. That's perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Ansie, for joining us here.
Thanks,
go take
Kim.
a deep breath. You did awesome. I will. We appreciated it so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.